Okay, so this Commodore Amiga 600 has just arrived. It was a pickup off eBay. Spares Repairs / faulty. You can see I've put the eBay ad on the screen so you can see how much I paid for it, and yeah, the ad that says it's spares or repairs, and it has arrived. I've got it in pieces already because this thing was in really disgusting condition. I mean, it was really nasty looking. The picture won't really show it, and I've already cleaned the case and I've taken the whole thing apart. I've also as well taken the floppy drive apart. I didn't want to put any discs in there. I've taken that apart and given that a clean and a good service. Basically followed Gadget UK 164's video where he shows taking apart Amiga floppy drives, cleaning them up, re-greasing the rails with a bit of lithium grease is what I've used. So I'm going to test that in a second. In fact, we'll test it whilst I'm recording the video so you can see what happens. Okay, you can see I've got sort of a test bed of sorts here. We've got the Amiga's motherboard, we've got the floppy drive. As I said, I've cleaned and sort of serviced that, cleaned the heads, re-greased the worm drive with some lithium grease. We've got the LED sort of attached to the side here. Here's the keyboard. As you can see, they've taken 4 of the keys off it as well. The escape key's missing, the left alternate key's missing, the minus and the plus are missing. But guess what, guys? It seems to work. So if I switch him on, you can see we've got the LED. The disc will also start clicking as well. There you go. And if we go up to the TV, there is the Kickstart screen. It's Kickstart version 2.05, I think, the same as what I did put into my Amiga 500 Plus in the end. So there we go, it's working. I haven't tested the floppy disk yet, so I'll grab a floppy disk. I'll probably just use Reload Kick to see if Reload Kick loads, and I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so I've attached a mouse, and I've also attached the Sega Mega Drive controller. You can see I've got this one here with a bit of heat shrink tubing to try and cover the wires that came apart in there. This is what I use for my Amiga games because it's really cool and easy to use. I like the Mega Drive controller, especially for Amiga games. And I've got a copy here of Reload Kick version 1.4. This is going to be tricky. I might have to support the disk drive. Just give me a second. Okay, and we're back. And the disk drive appears to be clicking and loading. I'll point you to the screen in a second. And yeah, the floppy drive looks like it's working. You can see Reload Kick is there. I'm just going to click the mouse button. Sorry about this. This is a bit... yeah, it's accepted the left mouse button click, and Reload Kick is now loading. Look at that. I'll be back in a second because I will boot the game just to make sure sound and other things are working. So give me a second. Okay, so Reload Kick is loaded. And I've put in Turrican 2. This is a crack trove, obviously, for Turrican 2. So I'm going to have to click the mouse button. And then you get this, yeah, the function keys allow you to press to switch on certain things. Keyboard looks like it's working. Or at least those keys appear to be working fine. That's cool. Let's click the mouse button and click the mouse button again, and it's loading. Yeah, so you get the 1.3 Kickstart screen with Reload Kick 1.4 that I've got on disc here, and it goes through the rest of the crack trove. And I'll be back once Turrican 2's loaded. There we go, Turrican 2. Look at that, the sound's working. So let's press the fire button. Ooh, that's good. This is looking good, guys. This is looking really good. So obviously the keyboard needs a clean as well. I've got to take the keycaps off and clean those and pick up the replacement keys for the ones that are missing. But look at that. That's fantastic. Really, really is fantastic. And there's Turrican 2. So left, right, jump, down, fire. Oh yes. Looks like everything's working. I'm really pleased with that, guys. So yeah, hang on because there's some more coming up after this. A little bit more discussion about my Amiga 500 Plus. Okay, so for now I've reassembled the 600 and put them back together again. Keys still need a clean. I'm going to take each of these off and clean them. Obviously, to replace these, I've managed to find someone on eBay that's selling Amiga spares, and they've got the Amiga 600 keys that I'm after, because these are actually different to the Amiga 500 and Amiga 500 Plus that I've got, because I've actually got a spare keyboard. That'll become clear as to why I've got a spare keyboard in a moment. But yeah, so this is all back together again, because I don't like leaving these in bits, especially with the fact I've got cats, and I'll end up losing things, and yeah, it's not good for them. So we'll fire this back up again, and you can see we've got ourselves a lovely light on, and the drive's clicking, and there we go. It's all working. So yeah, I'll get down my Amiga 500 Plus, and yeah, I'll talk about what's been happening with that. Okay, so I've got the Amiga 500 Plus, And the best way to demonstrate this is I've put in the AGA version of Zul2 on purpose, which we know won't boot because this isn't an AGA Amiga. What it does is it takes you to the Amiga DOS screen where you can type in using the keyboard. Now, there's a reason for that, because every time I was typing in an O on the keyboard, it was putting an I as well as the O, or sometimes it would just put an I, and then if I held down O, I'd get a series of I's. So what I did last night, after already ordering a replacement keyboard, a spare keyboard for the 500 Plus, or 500, I think I've ordered a 500 keyboard, was I completely stripped the keyboard apart, took all the screws off the back. The membrane had actually been replaced on this by Ian at Mutant Caterpillar Games for me. And what I did was I completely cleaned the whole back of these keys, so they've all got little contacts. And I cleaned all those with rub and alcohol with some isopropyl, and then put it all back together, and to my surprise, don't know if you can make that out, I'm typing O, and I'm only getting O's now, which is absolutely perfect. I've also tried every other key on the keyboard and they all work perfectly as well, which is amazing. So I managed to fix a little issue that I was having with this little bad boy as well. I say little, it's absolutely massive. It's absolutely huge compared to the other two Amigas I've got, the 1200 and the 600 that I've got now. But yeah, I managed to fix that as well, which is absolutely awesome. So guys, thanks as ever for watching. I'll catch you again soon.